Hi guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Massive games yesterday in the Americas with two big results. 100T and Sentinels both playing their games, but Aspas, what a result from him. Single-handedly at times carrying his team over the line for VCT. Are they actually a good team, or is this literally the Aspas show right now? And as FNS says, is this guy unequivocally the best player in the world yet again? What does it mean for Sen and for the other teams in terms of their bounce back going forwards? Loads of storylines from last night. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, I thought this was nice little reunion really for those Gambit M3C guys basically as it was, so Redger and Nat and all those getting back there. No Defo unfortunately, but I thought it was nice to see regardless. Just quickly hear from Chet because NRG they play shortly. We'll discuss the games over the coming minutes. He's actually wanting Icebox to be gone and Pearl to be brought back. Now I actually kind of agree with Baby J, or now known as Inspire, that Fracture, I kind of like Fracture. We'll see what they're cooking up because I imagine if they're going to make some changes, bring something back into the pool, they're going to make some adjustments to the maps as they did with Icebox, but they didn't do much as far as I'm concerned in terms of making the map better to watch, but maybe that's a different opinion to what you guys have. Pearl, I didn't really like either though, but Chet would like to see Pearl back and Icebox gone. We'll see if that happens. And today, Sunday, NRG play Furia, and this is pretty interesting. Furia have not won a VCT game in 327 days. Pretty similar number actually to 100T. We'll discuss in a second. We will make it 328, so we'll see if that happens. Of course, they played very well against Loud the other day. But first, we've got to talk about the Pacific because yesterday, as I was recording yesterday's video, this series was ongoing. Gen.G versus PaperX. And I'll just let this play out here for you guys real quick. Texture. Man, Global Esports must be thinking, how do we manage to fumble this? Because this guy is unbelievable. And the takeover, I actually think, Forsaken had a crazy ace as well the other day. But this one, honestly, is arguably better just because of the time pressure. The fact that he gets off the spike here and then he plants together, that he just gets the kill. And honestly, what a clutch. FNS just has to stand up and walk away because this was just so well played. But PaperX versus Gen.G. They've played a fair few times already. Gen.G so far have proven to be the stronger team in the region. But that is pre-Jing, right? And that is pre the return of the original PaperX roster. The fact that Jing is now okay to compete again after having getting waived for medical reasons for having to do the military service in Singapore. Jing is now back. The PaperX team as it previously was is now back. And that maybe changes the texture of the Pacific scene. Firstly, DRX, they get a victory 2-1 against T1. DRX, they used to love a 2-1 victory. Nowadays, they've just been 2-0ing most people, but they do go back to a 2-1 here. And yeah, T1 go down. T1 have had a pretty rough start, to be fair, so far. And honestly, DRX, after losing the Game 1 breeze, they did basically slam in the next couple of maps. It was 13-5, 13-6. So that's the DRX maybe we expected. Of course, Flashback is not here right now. Buzz had a phenomenal game here on the race as well to close out on the bind. But Flashback said that still dealing with the personal stuff. Hopefully he can get back in due course because I think they are going to need him if they want to be super competitive internationally. But for now, it's fine. And T1 just aren't especially good. But then PaperX did get the win against Gen.G. So we've seen them play a fair few times already. Gen.G have had their number, but this time, and despite the fact that Jing, okay, he didn't carry the team or anything, but they played well enough to win here. So the Lotus went 13-11 to Gen.G, as we just saw that ridiculous comeback sparked by that texture ace. But then in the end, the Icebox was 13-11, and the bind was slightly more comfortable with a 13-6 after dominating the first part of that half. So makes the Pacific as a region still look rather tasty, right? Because with Jing back in, PaperX seem to be back, taking down Gen.G. Also makes Group A look pretty ugly, right? I mean, T1 are here, GE are here, Secret Bleed. None of these teams are especially good, apart from Gen.G, who, they're not undefeated either, and DRX move rather comfortably to 3-0 so far. Although, of course, they have played the arguably weaker teams on the other side. So that's what's going on in the Pacific. For now, we've got to dive into, though, what happened in the Americas, because this was a big game last night with, massive matchups in terms of their implications. 100T, they finally won a game for the first time in nearly a year. As Boostio says, 2-0 G2, first win as a team, big things to come. Let's go. And honestly, so many storylines to look for from last night. Firstly, their first win in 11 months is pretty absurd, but as 100T Asuna says, and Asuna played well, I think, on the split especially. Still, Asuna has been somewhat more underwhelming in the last several months than I would have hoped for, given a player of his quality and caliber and expectations. But he did play pretty well last night. And as he says, the road to Shanghai begins right about now. This was the series. So G2, they slammed EG the other day, but I've still not been that, I wanted to see more evidence really from G2 that they were actually any good or that they were back or something, just because That was the only time that EG series that G2 had showed me any glimpses of what the Guard used to be last year in challenges, and I wasn't really expecting them to be anything special in the league. 100T, I thought, would have been the favourites. That's what turned out to be the case, but, you know, they brought in Icy, right? Net is gone, Icy comes in, and he kind of got fried here, right? I know that it's early days, and Bang, I thought, well, honestly, there's lots of credit deserved to a lot of the 100T guys. I thought Bang was especially good, and Asuna on the split, actually, was very good. On the bind, not so much. But yeah, Icy got raised if hard here. Like, honestly, Asuna just completely owned him this matchup in that respective matchup. Let's say 2 and 7 first kills, 7 and 15, and then the bindy was not too bad on the Yoru, but they lost that one anyway. So this series, I think people expected to be kind of close, but no, 13-9, 13-8. Pretty comfortable in the end for 100T. So they get their first win on the board in a very long time, and exciting to see the future of this 100T squad, because scrims apparently are going well for these guys. Like, the feeling is that they are actually doing pretty well in practice, but they're not able to necessarily replicate that, but they've got a victory here. Now, we will discuss, as we talk this Sen Lev series, on what this means for a team such as Cloud9, because the other day, Cloud9 took down Leviathan in a close 2-1 series, and in that series, Aspas absolutely dominated, but Lev still lost. Last night, Aspas absolutely dominated, but on this occasion, they actually got the victory, right? So this was, I mean, have a look at this. This is Aspas's kill heat map, as it were, on Lotus. So these are locations that he got frags from. This man was everywhere. Like, he was doing it all on any site at any moment. It's absurd to see a level like this, and we've never seen 47 kills before in a map of Valorant, and that is what occurred last night. So, yeah, it was a ridiculous game. Lev went up pretty hard in the first map here on the Lotus. Sen then brought it back. There was a 1v2 from Tens. There was a phenomenal play here from JenG. I guess I'll go full screen for, actually, because JenG just does it all really for these guys to get them back into this moment. 1-2 with the Bulldog, gets the third, and ends up getting the fourth as well on King to close out the round. Sen bring it back to an overtime, and an unreal overtime it was.
Wait
for Aspas! Wait for Michael! Wait for Michael!
Trying to push him back towards the pillar.
Okay, he's here.
2 versus 4 now. All of them grouped up, back towards the spawn.
He's here! He's here!
Showstopper out.
Michael! F them! F them! Finish them!
It took a while, but
That shit out of here!
will win. Lotus.
I'm running an ad.
Sentinels find themselves defeated recently on Sunset. Leviathan having not played it since last year. Bring out that W. 36 rounds in.
Yeah, go hug him.
40.
That's how Michael Jordan's teammates felt.
7 first bloods on the game. And
He deserved it. I don't give a fuck if you're a Sen fan. He deserved that shit.
It's still true.
Now, let's go look at the stats, shall we? Oh my fucking god. Oh my goodness me. I'm sorry, who is the best player in the world? I'm sorry, who? There's only one man above the rest. There's only one man. He's been doing it for years. Chat. You gotta put respect on his name. He's been doing it for fucking years. He's been doing it longer. He's at this level longer than anyone else. Undisputed GOAT. If there... Okay, the game is too early for you to call someone a GOAT. But if there was one, it's Aspas.
So Sentinels go down, their first series loss in a rather long time since they lost to GenG, of course, after which they went on to beat PaperX and then beat GenG again in the grand final. So when Sen lose, they do tend to bounce back, and you're not going to win every single series. That is merely how it is. Lev, are they actually that good? That is the question, or is this just the Aspas show? Sentinels, they've had a good start to the season. I'm sure they'll be confident that they're going to make it to the World Championship anyway. You can't win everything you play, and maybe if you run this series, 10, 15 times, maybe Sentinels win it 7 or 8 times out of the 10. These were the couple of times where Aspas played to such a level that it was simply undeniable, right? Because, you look at this Lev team, they don't really have the superstars that Sentinels have and the players that Sentinels have. Like, Zekken had a tough time against Aspas, certainly on the Lotus. We can see right about here. I mean, what a ridiculous overtime, right? 19-17 in the end. And Aspas drops 47 frags with 372 ACS. Like, we talked a lot about Zekken during their run to the victory at Madrid, that maybe Zekken was the best player in the world. Best duelist in the world, best player in the world, potentially. Aspas basically said last night, nah, boys, you forgot about me type thing. And this is why, you know, Loud, whatever you might think about their new team, the fact that they don't have Aspas anymore, like, that just has to be a loss, right? Like, I don't see a world where Loud can be as good as they were previously with no Aspas. And now he's on Lev. They don't quite have, like, on paper, maybe at the start of the season, it felt like, yeah, they've got a fair bit of firepower here. And King is great as well. And Mazzino, Texat, they're all kind of solid enough. But their only real superstar is Aspas. And they need him to do this, like, every single series. Like, for him to go 68 in 34, literally 2 KD. And on the Lotus, he was plus 28. I mean, what could you even say at that point? And then, sure, he does it again on the Icebox. Leviathan win this one 13-11. So it was a massively close series. And if, as I say, if you run this series 10 times, Aspas probably doesn't drop 47 game one, and Sentinels probably win more often than they lose, and, you know, 10's had a rough time here as well. Just wanted to share this stat as well here. This is Aspas, or really just the players versus each other. So Aspas, in a head-to-head duel against Zekken, killed him 12 times, Zekken killed him once. 10s, Aspas killed 10s 10 times, 10's killed him 3 times, right? You know what I mean? The only player that could even have Aspas's number slightly was Sassy, who didn't have a great series, but maybe knows something about Aspas, the rest of them don't. So this is just one of those series from Aspas that you honestly see more often maybe than you would expect to, and that is enough to get them the victory effectively, almost single-handedly it felt like at times, to get them over the line. So Sen won't be too mad about it, but it does mean very interesting for the rest of that league, actually. I guess we'll just have a quick look at it. Because with this victory going to Lev, Sen find themselves at 1-1. They're actually 4th in their group right now in a pretty competitive group, right? With Cloud9, Crew, NRG, and G2, of course, which they will need to get some more victories off. And with Cloud9 beating Lev the other day, you know, that makes things rather interesting for how this series might trend going forward, right? So, yeah, incredible result. We'll see some of the reaction to it. Just to see quickly today, we've got Crew MIBR and then LRG Furia before we get Cloud9 EG to close out the weekend of games. And yeah, as we see here, some reaction as Zelsa says, didn't deserve the win. That's Valorant. Time to keep grinding. You know, guess I need to buy the Viaton bundle after this performance here. And Zelsa is like, look, please, just 10% of your skills. That's all I'll take. And as he says, I've been working really hard on my individual. Happy to be paying off. So funny that Aspas says, like, basically, I've got to carry these boys, and that's what I'm going to do. And that's exactly what he did. And as Shazam says, 47 kills is insane. The replies are funny here, right? If you guys aren't aware of the reference to this, there was a clip the other day with Juno, and Shazam was responding, and when she basically said, like, she knows, right, in the comms, and that now seems to be the default response to everything that Shazam tweets is just, we know, type thing, which I thought is pretty funny. I imagine that he's going to be saddled with this for some time to come. And as FNS says, yeah, Aspas is the GOAT. Sen needs to stop streaming, change comps and style, get Pancada back, you know, our King back on Duelist. You know, kind of mocking some of the overreaction to a series like this. But who knows? Maybe this is the start of the trend. We saw that FNS mentioned it the other day, that he does not expect Sentinels to win Shanghai. It's just so difficult to maintain that level of performance over time, which is probably going to be true as it turns out. But they should still qualify for Shanghai, and, well, they will need to get some more wins on the board to make sure that happens. But very much interested in your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.